this entire, what's the right word? This endeavor to overthrow this spirit, Baal, obviously connected to the Babylon thing. This spirit really began in earnest. The assignment on the prayer movement to dislodge that spirit began in 2007 at the Call, Nashville, on 777. I had gone into a season where I was just in the most intense season of warfare that I had ever experienced, and unlike anything I had ever experienced. And I knew warfare. I knew how to deal with the enemy. But I would resist this attack against me of oppression and darkness and confusion, and it would leave, and within minutes or an hour it would be back. It was like this swarm of demons around me all the time, and I knew enough to keep them from overcoming me, but I could not permanently get them away from me. And it was just unlike anything I've ever experienced. The attempt to bring oppression on me, which I never yielded to, but sometimes it was the attack, and what was happening around me was so intense. I would get up in the middle of the night. We lived in Colorado at the time. Put down, build a fire, put my worship music on through, at the time, probably some earphones instead of the little things, and sit there for hours and just worship and resist this, because I just didn't know what else to do. And after 2 or 3 weeks, I called Chuck Pierce. And I said, man, you're a prophet. You're a prophet, obviously, I'm in relationship with. And I told him a little bit of what's going on. I said, do you have any idea what's happening to me? What's going on right now? And he said, yeah, it's Baal. This I'd never crossed my mind. Baal to me was somebody you read about in Elijah's day. He said, it's the spirit of Baal. He's prophesying this. It's the spirit of Baal. He's the strong man over America. God says he wants you to study and get revelation on how to deal with him and teach the rest of us. Okay, you're going to be all right. Talk to you later. It's almost like, what are you waiting on? Start studying. So I did what I know to do. I dove into the scriptures, started doing these studies, and kind of at one point understood the connection with 7, because, Baal wants to call himself our husbands and the Lord of covenant. So he tries to usurp the covenant of the Lord, and the Lord as our husband, and say, I want you to marry me, and I'll be your husband, and I'll be the master, and you'll be in covenant with me. And since 7 was a number associated with covenant, because they repeated the oath of a covenant in that day 7 times, it was actually called sevening yourself. And the Hebrew word for 7 and oath are the same, because the oath of covenant was sevening yourself, because you repeated it 7 times. So Lou Engle says to me, the call, says, I've heard from God, I'm going to do another call. I'm going to do it on 777. Why 777, Lou? He says, I don't know. I can't figure it out. But I heard God say, do it on 777. Now, some of you out there looking like crazy, but anybody that's heard Lou Engle knows that's exactly the way he sounds. And I said, well, Lou, I know why he wants you to do it on 777. I've just done a whole series on this. And God is saying it's time for America to have this stronghold of Baal broken off. We're going to divorce Baal and we're going to re-covenant, remarry the Lord in this nation. Oh, he got it immediately. He said, that's why he told me to do it. So the call 777 became that. So we've been on this journey. You think I'm wandering around up here, but I'm not. We've been on this journey since 777 to overthrow this stronghold. I mean, it was happening before, but I don't know of anybody that had identified exactly who this strong man was, this spirit was. And then after the call through John Benefield's ministry and the prayer network he had, leaders and teams went to every state to do this. And God started talking to me again a year or so ago about Baal. He said, you're moving into the final stretch of overthrowing this thing. And he started talking to me now supernaturally. He started talking to me about a name of Baal that I'd read it, but I'd never focused on it, thought of it. If you had asked me, what is the name Zephon? There's Zephon. I would have said, I don't know. What is that? I didn't recall that one of Baal's names in scripture was Baal Zephon. He gives himself all these names. I'm the God or master or Lord of this, of fertility, of the winds. I'm the Lord of the rain. And so all these names, just like God does about himself, because the spirit is trying to take the place of God. So Baal Zephon was the name for the manifestation of Baal as the God of wind and the God of the seas, the God who leads in war, the strong Baal, not the one that gives you the crops and the fertility. This was the powerful arm of Baal. And the place where they had erected their altar to Zephon was right on the edge of the Red Sea. So when God is exposing the gods of Egypt, all the Baals, when the deliverance of Israel, but he's not just delivering Israel, he's judging the gods of Egypt, Baal. He did all but one. He hadn't yet dealt with Zephon. So Moses leading the people out there, and they get past a certain point on their journey, Exodus 14. God says, turn around and go back to this place right here. Gives the name of it. And it's right there at this point where this God of Baal, Zephon, is worshipped and where the high place is. The God of the wind and the sea. And when they turned around and came back, it looked like they were roaming around trying to figure out where to go and that they were lost and confused. And when they got back to this place, they were trapped. They were trapped by the sea on one side, the mountain on the other, and the armies of Pharaoh on the other. And Pharaoh said, and this is even recorded in Jewish writings, Pharaoh said, finally, one of my gods that's stronger than their God, and he's led them into a trap. And now my God will overthrow Yahweh. And that's why he had confidence after all that had happened. He still had confidence to pursue them. And when the sea rolled back, he had confidence to go into and across the sea, because after all, Baal Zephon rolled back the sea. He's the God of the wind and the sea. And the wind came and rolled it back. And now he's trapped them in there, and I'm going to wipe them out. And he who sits in the heavens laughed. And brought a great demonstration of who really is the God of the wind and the sea.